All right, hey, what's up everybody? Landon with LMR.com. We got a good one for you today. We're gonna get right into it, not gonna waste your time, but we wanted to put together a legit Gen 3 versus Gen 4 Coyote comparison video. Yes, you know, we could have immediately started throwing some cars on the dyno just for the sake of getting some, you know, random numbers just to say we did it, but we wanted to take a little time, we wanted to put some pencil to paper, and we wanted to make sure this was as close as we possibly could get it, and you're gonna see that I think we did that. The two cars we obviously have the 2024 GT. We also have a 2022 Mustang GT with the Gen 3 Coyote. The 2022 cars was the first year that Ford did the little carbon trap thing. We're not gonna mess with any of that. We're gonna leave that all the same with both cars. The only two modifications that they have, they each have an SVE Resonator Delete X pipe. Other than that, they are all stock, 10R80, 315 rear gear. We also took the 2024 19-inch stock wheels and we put them on each car, 255, 40, 19 tire. Each pull for each car is gonna be made in 5th gear. 7th gear is technically 1-to-1 for the 10R80, but because of the 315 rear gear, we'll hit the speed limiter and we won't be able to see the entire RPM range of where the car is making power. Both cars have 93 octane fuel, and if we really wanted to get scientific with it, technically speaking, the only difference, other than the obvious of Gen 3 versus Gen 4, the 2022 has a little bit smaller brake rotor than the 2024. Larger brake rotor means more rotational mass, technically means a little bit more power loss, but we're splitting hairs because I don't think you would be able to see that on the chassis dyno. I think I've covered everything. If I didn't, we'll pick back up in the outro and mention it. Like we always do, we'll do a few runs with each car. We'll take the best one, and for the sake of the outro, we're going to talk about one result for each car. We'll make a pull first with the 2024 Mustang GT. We'll get it off and then get the 2022 immediately on the dyno. That way we can dyno them in the same temperature. So enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and get into some dyno pulls. All right, people, let's take a look at some numbers. We were able to dyno each car in the same temperature, 88 degrees. Got both cars to operating temperature. We're gonna start with the 2022 first, just because chronological order, right? 2022 Mustang GT. Again, we're gonna use SAE numbers. We're not gonna talk about STD or uncorrected because that's just too much time wasted. But SAE number on the 2022 Mustang GT, 383.2 horsepower at 6,900 RPM, 360.3 pound-feet of torque at 4,700 RPM. Now we'll jump over here and pull up the run for the 2024, and it's kind of crazy. It almost made the identical power to what it made a few days ago when we dynoed it kind of bone stock, if you must. But the 2024 Mustang GT made 420.8 horsepower at 7,300 RPM and 368.2 pound-feet of torque at 4,900 RPM. Now, if we really wanted to nerd out about this, the 2022s took a 10 horsepower hit and a 10 pound-feet of torque hit. So they were rated at 450 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. The 2024 Mustang GT with active exhaust is rated at 486 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque. Those cars without active exhaust are rated at 480 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque. Our car does have the active exhaust, so we're gonna use that 486, 418 number. Again, get nerdy here. You look at the spread of the results and you do the calculation of the horsepower number differences, that translated exactly to the chassis dyno. Give or take about 17 more horsepower on the Gen 4 and about 8 pound-feet of torque more in favor of the Gen 4, which is kind of neat. That's about as good a result as you can get. Remember, every dyno is a little bit different. We are using the SAE correction factor, and the only real true test to, you know, kind of duke these out is you got to take them to a drag strip, quarter mile, 1/8 mile, something where, you know, you can put them up against each other side by side at the exact same time and let them duke it out. So another thing you're probably wondering is, what are the weight of each cars? We did weigh each car. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my phone out just because I kind of just typed everything out. A lot of numbers to remember here. But the 2024 Mustang GT with approximately 3/4 of a tank of fuel, weighed in at 3,852 pounds. Those have a fuel tank capacity of 16 gallons, and we also weighed that car. We left the SVE wheels in the front and the 19-inch wheels on the rear. We did the same for the 2022 Mustang GT with the Gen 3. And the only thing that kind of throws us for a loop is this car does have a sub in the back. so maybe calculate 50 to 75 pounds for this car. But the 2022 weighed 3,845 pounds, and it had a touch under a 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So very, very close on the fuel. And the 2022s also have a 16-gallon tank. And also, for what it's worth, both cars have the 400A package. The 2024 has about 1,200 miles on it, and then the 2022 Mustang GT is just shy of 7,700 miles. I think I covered everything. I hope y'all found a ton of value in this. It was good to kind of not just jump out there and do something, just to throw some numbers around. Like I said, this is about as close as you can get without taking them to a drag strip or something like that, you know, to let them go head to head and see which one prevails. Jumping back over to the graphs, you can definitely see some curve differences on the Gen 4, really past about 5,000 RPM. The Gen 4 really starts to talk to us, really starts to come alive. And it's tough to make an assumption as to why that's happening. But if we jump back to the video we did with the intake manifold differences from Gen 3 to Gen 4, there was some plenum changes on the Gen 4 versus the Gen 3. And of course, the second air induction system on the Gen 4 as well. We don't know what that dual throttle body setup is doing. And past the 5,000 RPM, that may be where some of that's coming into play. You know, the different plenum design and of course that second throttle body. Let's look a little closer at the curve towards the higher RPM range. And we're seeing about 42 horsepower and 30 pound-feet of torque in favor of the Gen 4 over the Gen 3. So really past that 5,000 RPM range, like I was saying, as it starts to open up, from what we can see here on our dyno, man, that Gen 4 really starts to talk going into those higher RPMs. There you go, guys. I pretty much dumped it all out there. Let us know what you think of these comparisons. We try to get it as accurate and as truthful as possible for you. So as always, if you find value in what we do, like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and until we catch you in the next one, y'all know what to do. For all things S550 and S650 Mustang, keep it right here with the Real Enthusiasts, LMR.com.